Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the number one most valuable real estate community in existence. Today, we are going to have an amazing mastermind. We're going to kick off the day with high energy. Hope everybody's achieving their goals today, getting after it any way that they can. Me, I've gotten up. I've been to the gym. I've already talked to a couple people. I'm scheduling a closing for a property. I got 2 closings coming up, 3 really. And the portfolio's growing. Things are going well, ladies and gentlemen. This is exactly what will happen if you stick with it long enough. You will start closing more deals. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to see in the chat, before Bob joins us, how many of us are hitting the phones? How many of us are closing deals right now? Let's take a look at the chat. We got about 20 people joining us this morning already. We got to send out an announcement, get everybody in here. Fantastic, fantastic. We got some people typing in the side chat. They're hitting the phones. This is your opportunity to be in proximity with 6- and 7-figure real estate professionals. Fantastic, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Seems like everybody's just getting up. Where's the energy? We got Eddie. He says he's going to be door knocking and making some calls today. Very important. Q is going to knock 10 doors today. Fantastic, Q. Let's take advantage of this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, if there's anybody in the audience as well that wants to hop up and talk about what they've got going on, we love to showcase and highlight members of the community that are active and getting after it. That's what this is all about. You know, we really want to create a space where everybody in here can contribute and connect, with the other professionals that are joining us each and every single day. And don't sleep on this opportunity. You never know who's tuning in, whether it's on this very live stream right now on the Discord or on the YouTube channel. You would be surprised. There are private money lenders, there are agents, there are lenders, there are people that are checking in on us, taking a look, seeing what is going on with REI Rev and John Johnson, Mr. Bob Sadaai. This is your opportunity to get in front of these people and let them know who you are, where you're at, and what you do. Got some vacant houses Q's going after today. Fantastic, fantastic. I want to know from you all. I'd love to go live and make some calls. There's a lot of talk about theory and all sorts of stuff. I'm a very realistic guy. I like to get on the phone. I like to make calls. I like to get results. That's what I do. If there's anybody, especially I think there's a lot of people that might be working throughout the day that really want to get into real estate, but may not have, a couple $1,000s to spend every single month on ads. And then on top of that, a couple $1,000 to spend on an agency. If there's anybody in here that wants to get started with hot SMS leads, shoot me a DM. I'm going to get you set up on our new CRM, the List Blast CRM. It's super simple. You upload a list, you press play, you get results. You call people that are motivated. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. We want to create more opportunity for the people that are in here to get on the phones and start closing deals now. Wow, this is what is it? Today is the 21st of October, ladies and gentlemen, a Monday. There are only 20 people joining us this morning. Surprised. Everybody must have been partying over the weekend. Love to open it up. If anybody wants to hop up on the stage, take advantage of this opportunity. I've been seeing a lot of chat in the general chat. A lot of people are looking for properties in places, ladies and gentlemen. You might be able to help them find them just by going online, searching Facebook groups, looking for people that already have deals and literally connecting the two. Yes, sir. My boy Vincent. Shout out Vince. We got the Revolutionary Gold and the Closer Blue. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Good morning, Stacy.
marketing, and how you engage with sellers, clients over the phone with properties that you have no knowledge about in a particular area code, region, city. What's some pointers you could give me so that way I could engage a little bit better without knowing all the facts about a particular area, and what's going on in their market particularly, just to keep them on the phone and get some of those pillars answered without them feeling discouraged about, you know, how you sound on the phone because you don't know certain, pointers. Because I listen to a lot of people talk about, areas, what's going on there, even local restaurants. And if I don't know some of those things, I want to be able to keep someone on the phone long enough to get the information I need, without them feeling like they can't trust me because I don't know particulars of, their neighborhood. What would you say to that?
The first thing I would say is, how are you generating your leads? How are you finding these people?
Well, I decided to step out of my comfort zone and get into a market that I don't necessarily have much information on. So I'm trying to do some research, but not to the point where the analysis paralysis kicks in and I just don't decide to make those calls. So I just want to get into it and see, what I can get out of it. But I want to start somewhere. And for someone who does it virtually, um, I feel like it's best to ask you, maybe, or someone else. I don't know. What
Yeah,
would you say to
absolutely.
that?
I've been doing it virtually for the last 2.5 years. First and foremost, like I see in the chat, I wouldn't overthink these things. These minute things. You've got to find people that are in a position where they want to make a decision, right? And that's why I ask about how are you generating these leads? Where are you finding these people? Because you want to be talking to people that are ready to sell, right? And if they're ready to sell, they should be in a position where they don't care who they're selling to, right? But they need to get their problem solved. Do they really have a problem? That's the first question is, and that goes back to how are you finding these people? How are you generating these leads? Now, for me, the way that my business is structured, I am focused on novation. So I collaborate a lot with real estate agents, and I consider them to be local market professionals. They know way more about their market than I do. They're actively buying and selling houses out there, serving their clients, serving their community way better than I could because I'm not there. I don't know anything about it. So I like to try to contract every house that I put under contract as a novation. And I like to lean and collaborate with the local agents that have that experience because all I've got to do is position myself as, the guy that's going to solve that person's problem, right? We don't need to tell
Yeah.
the seller about exactly what we're going to do. We don't need to show them our business structure about how we're going to reach out to a local agent and they're going to go to the property, right? As far as they're concerned, that agent works with us. And as far as that
Mhm.
agent is concerned, that agent does work for us, right? So that's the position that I like to put myself in on the phone. And I'm happy to make some calls. I've got, some leads that have come in that I've got to call. So showing you, I feel like, is always better than talking. A lot of people talk, and it's easy to talk and
Absolutely.
talk about what's perfect. But just seeing it is something that I think helps people. It helped me. I remember when I first got into REI Rev, I watched all the YouTube videos. I saw every guru talking about how to get on the phone, what to say, how to handle objections. But it wasn't until I actually saw sales calls that I actually something clicked in my head, like, oh, it is possible, and this is how it's done, right? So I would suggest
Right.
reviewing some of the calls that are on the YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not already, you got to go check out the YouTube channel. Hundreds of hours. We got
Yeah.
over 400 videos there, and you'll see live calls. You'll see how I'm talking to people, how they respond to me. And I don't get any pushback. I mean, they ask me where I'm from, and I'll tell them where I'm from. I don't tell them where I am. You know, I might be outside the country. I might be on the other side of the planet, but that's not anybody's business, and that's not going to affect the ability for me to close. So, you know, I don't disclose it, right? Just as we don't disclose exactly step by step what our process looks like because it's irrelevant information. So whether you are right outside their house or not, it really is irrelevant so long as you have the resources, people, and systems and processes in place to be able to actually close on these deals. And so if you have a lead that you think is motivated, but for whatever reason, you feel like there is some problem, with where you're located, reach out and lean on somebody in the community that is local to that market.
Got it. Alrighty, I'll do that. And keep that in mind because it's not impossible. It's just um, definitely something I want people to feel comfortable about, regardless of where I'm, calling from. So I hear you on that. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have you gotten any sort of objection so far from anyone saying that, hey, you're not from here, I'm not going to sell to you? Has that happened yet, or is that something you're worried about
No,
happening?
no, not worried at all. Just I watch and listen to a lot of, you all, mostly closers, let's say, um, execute phone calls, and, sometimes it may come off as like opposition from a seller who's, weary about selling. They want to get all the details about who they're speaking with, they're trying to do business with. So these little things come up, and I'm always curious, like how to pivot, how to handle those little questions that come up, because it is kind of important, but it's not necessarily important. It's important when you're building and establishing a relationship with someone, but it overall, when it comes to doing the business, is not relevant at all. I just like to, have ways to improvise while on those calls, because it's important to keep them engaged. So that's all. That's the only reason. It's not a huge hiccup, but I'm definitely confident that I can pivot the right way.
Fantastic. Good morning, Mr. Sadaai.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm excited because I can hear you so well with that brand spanking new microphone of yours.
It's
I
good.
appreciate it. I was reviewing some of the content, and I was like, wow, like the quality needs to be upgraded. And I went last night with my wife. I was gonna grab like this, just normal, not flashy microphone, and she was like, "No, you got to get the RGB one, get it cool colors and everything." I was like, "Okay." So
That's awesome. It looks great. It looks great. I'm sure you're going to put it to a lot of good use too.
thank you. Yeah, it's definitely an investment. It's not just a toy or anything.
Oh yeah. No, definitely. Definitely. How are you doing, Stacy? I hear that John was giving you some excellent advice as always.
Yes, very much so. I'm doing great today. How are you today, Bob?
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for
Good.
asking.
And thanks
Excited?
for joining us. Yeah, absolutely. Very excited. Yeah, just looking for pointers on how to get uh how to get started virtually, because I'm stepping outside of the comfort zone and talking to, apparently what I have is motivated sellers in a market that I'm not necessarily familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think I've put in enough hours of listening and watching other wholesalers execute calls where some questions come up about who they are, and I'm confident that I can keep them engaged enough to close a deal. So I just wanted a little word of advice on how to pivot when those types of questions come up, because it's important to establish a good relationship
Of
with
course.
a seller. So if they're not comfortable talking on the phone with someone who's not from their city, or doesn't know where their local restaurant is, or their favorite barbershop is, then I don't see it as a problem, but I just like to know how to improvise in those situations particularly. So that's all.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm trying to think back, at least for the last few years. I don't ever recall talking to anybody about their favorite barbershop or, you know, favorite restaurant. Yeah, I think so. But barbershop, no. And restaurants, I quickly just, you can Google it, look at the maps and see where the popular restaurants are, look at the ratings and go, oh yeah, have you been to this place or that place? Whatever. Okay, if you want to build a relationship. But quite honestly, Stacy, um, doing it virtually versus doing it in your own backyard, the same exact thing as far as sellers are concerned. Okay. The only thing that I would say is different, and I was gonna bring this point up in a way, like a Socratic way, but I'm just gonna spill it out. How are you? The only way that you're going to, in my opinion, not the only way, but the fastest way for you to become successful, okay, in a virtual market is to first find your buyers. Find out what they're looking for. Because even if you have a motivated seller, even if you get it under contract at a great price, but nobody's buying in that neighborhood or area, okay, you've just wasted a lot of time and energy on something that you are not going to be able to make any money on.
I hear
So
you.
go find your buyers first, okay? Look at maps. See where most of the buyers are buying. What areas are they buying? How much are they buying it for? What price range? What exactly are they looking for? When you have that, then target those types of properties to go after. Okay?
Thank you,
So,
Bob. You just put into perspective something I had on my to-do list. So I have to rearrange some things, but thank you. I just mapped it out. Appreciate you.
good. Good. Okay, you're welcome. Look at this. We got Nadeem, Jakai, Eddie P, everybody. How's it going, everyone?
What's the deal, fellas?
Good morning. Good
What's
morning.
going on, Jakai? Good morning.
Hey,
How can
Bob,
we
how's
help?
it going?
Great, man. How are you doing? Thanks for all the input on that Kansas City property. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So that's one thing I would say to Stacy is also once you find buyers or even find properties that look to have been flipped, calling up the agent is sometimes a real good way of number one, seeing what's going on in the area, and also understanding pricing. Because I was just thinking of because I'm in an area. I'm like I see some properties like ooh they did it up really well, but I also know that area. I'm like ain't no way they made money. Like what happened here? And then some of them, talking to agents, I find out just to even gauge price points and things like that. I'm like, hey, how'd it go with this property or that property? And they're like, honestly, they didn't make any money, or this situation happened, or that situation. And also, sometimes I get positives as well. And also, I find a lot of buyers through because a lot of agents are investors themselves. Like,
Yep.
especially if they're active, like, because most, like, half the industry, like, that got their license don't do a single thing with their license. But there's another strong half that are some career agents, but a lot of investors. So if you want to find buyers, especially in the space of just regular single family rentals or things like that, calling up agents is one of them. Complimenting them on like, wow, this property looks beautiful. Do you happen to know who the seller is? I'm a local investor and I help others find properties or
Mm.
whatever the case may be, and they may be like, oh yeah, it's me. I got a
Yeah,
couple of buyers that found out just by doing that, have them on my list and things like that.
I see where you're going with that. I'll also use that as a tool um, with my next step. So thank you, Eddie.
Oh yeah.
What you
One
got
thing.
going, Jakai? Sorry, John.
No, all good. I was going to just add, I think that it was all great advice, but one thing I'd also suggest for market research, I think, finding buyers is very important. And that's been, the main takeaway from a lot of these calls is find your buyers, find your buyers, find your buyers. But also, I would even beg to argue, find where people are buying, right? Because I think that's what a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people struggle with is they get a deal in the middle of nowhere and they can't sell it, obviously, right? There's
Yep.
no one buying there. But if you know there's activity, there's sales volume, that there's demand there, you go where the demand is, right? So it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to have a relationship with your buyer, but it means that you need to know somebody's there to buy it. Somebody wants to buy that house.
Love it. Which makes a lot of sense, especially with people like you, John, who are doing novations, because there are different types of buyers. I mean, when we talk about buyers, everybody just assumes we're talking about investors, fix
Right.
and flippers, landlord buyers, you know. Whereas with novations, that's totally different type of buyer. You're talking about an end buyer that wants to get into that property, and now you're providing that for them. So different types of buyers, but you got to know your buyers, like you said, and the activity.
I will also drop a video in the side chat for everybody to watch how I'm pulling these lists. Okay, I go to list source and I do a whole breakdown here. It's all free on the YouTube. And if you want to see how I find out where these buyers are, you can watch this video I just put in the side chat there using list source, all free.
Are you still doing it the same way?
Still doing it the same way. All my current markets are from this exact strategy. I will go to list source. I will pull, the markets. I'll do cities and counties with the highest transaction volume. I'll get it exported in an Excel spreadsheet. It'll send it right to me. From there, I'll take, the top like 50 to 100, depending on the size of the state. And then I'll just go and I'll throw that on my Google Ads campaign. It works the same with SMS. You can go and pull a list of, distressed or motivated sellers in those specific areas that you find. And whether you're doing Google Ads or you're doing SMS, if you guys need to get on a CRM that you can do outbound marketing, hit me up for the List Blast CRM. And we can get you in front of people that say yes instead of cold calling all day. And I know a lot of people struggle with this, not having the time to be able to call all day and hear no after no after no. Just get on the phone with the people that text back yes. That's what I did, And that works.
Can't be that easy. Come on. What are you holding back?
The hardest part, Bob, is getting on the phone and making the calls. The hardest part is dealing with the thoughts that come into your mind that tell you, this can't be that easy, and all the stuff that comes up. I really appreciate Miss Stacy for coming up and sharing, her concern. It's a real concern, that a lot of people have. A lot of people in this room, a lot of people watching this stream, a lot of people watching the replay will have. But to understand that can't stop you is what's going to make the difference between you watching, 100 more streams, 100 more, seminars, going to all these different events versus picking up the phone and talking to 100 more sellers and getting 100 more deals. So just like Aaron said, man, feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
The hardest part of this business is you. Yeah. Nadeem, Jakai, what you guys got going? Q, good morning, buddy.
Hey, man. I just wanted to ask you guys for some advice in regards to comping properties with in-law suites or casitas.
Okay. How do you go about doing that? How are you doing it right now?
Oh, I'm not. I'm trying to. That's what I'm asking for advice on. Any recommendations on if I should just add the square footage in to the subject property and look for properties that have sold with that total square footage or somewhere similar within that range, or if I should look a different way.
So most properties with casitas or in-law suites are custom. Okay, either they've made it themselves or they're in a community where there's a bunch of them around. So I'd look into the community. The first is always comparing apples to apples, right? So you want to try to find any property that has casita as well. Okay.
All right.
I would probably even expand it out to a mile and see, if you can find anything or not.
Right.
I actually have my underwriter here, Adam. Would you want to join us and say what you think the best way would be to do this for a casita? There he is. Good morning, buddy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wasn't expecting that. I'm here. That's
There we
why
go.
I'm listening. I agree with what you said, though. I can't really imagine. I guess maybe if you can't find many apples to go with the apple, but you can find at least one, ignore the in-law suite, try and find like similar homes, and then try and get an idea from maybe a contractor in the area or someone that would build something like that, like what it would cost for them to build it.
Or a realtor.
Yeah, definitely. Anyone that's familiar with the area, honestly. see what they think the difference or why there's a difference in the. You'll probably notice a difference in the prices if you start looking at homes without it and then homes with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if you can't find any properties that don't have a casita, okay, then find properties that match the main house, okay,
All right.
and then ask a realtor or a contractor, hey, how much value do you think this would add on? How much the ADU or the casita would add on if I were to sell this,
Okay.
right? So
All right.
get help from them. This is not a one-man business. Okay?
All right.
So, yeah, get help.
And don't just take the first answer you get. Definitely ask multiple people.
Right.
I really
Okay.
want people to understand how to work with realtors, because I think there's like some stigma between like this label of wholesaler and real estate agents. Like they don't go together. You got to understand how to work together with them. Like Bob's saying, you got to reach out to these people. They are the market professionals. You got to treat them as such. You don't want to approach these people, being snide or acting like you know more about real estate because you're making assignments and they're making commissions. We all contribute in a different way. And knowing how to reach out to these people is going to help you close more deals, right? Collaborate with these people. And the other thing is you got to create an opportunity to allow them to do what they do best, right? And that's why I like Novations a lot, is because you can hire an agent, to do their job. They get confused with the assignments, that kind of thing, but they know commission, Bob. They know about their 3%, their 6%. They hear that 6%, they don't have a problem. Okay, cool. They're ready to list it, right? And then you give them an opportunity to work and do what they do best.
Agreed. Does that help, Jakai?
Yeah, that's perfect. I appreciate the insight, fellas.
Love it.
Appreciate you.
Hey, Nadeem. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, John. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How are you?
Perfect. How's it going, buddy? I'm absolutely fantastic. What about you guys?
Great, great. What's going on in Nadeem's world today?
Yeah, basically, I am from Pakistan, and I've been into high ticket sales, like doing remote stuff for marketing agencies. But for the last couple of months, I just got to know about wholesaling about one of my friends, and I just started learning all the things that comes under the domain of wholesaling. So it was quite cool. I'm learning things every single day, and I've got a lot of motivated sellers and leads that are on JVs with a lot of best closers and real estate investors in the area. So I had a quick question for you, John.
Sure.
Perfect. So, by the way, what's the most tough or difficult process, the acquisition or the disposition? What is the most difficult one?
The most difficult process is finding the motivated sellers, right? I think that's the most difficult
Mm-hmm.
because you build a skill set of being able to talk to them, right? Then you get really good at
Mm-hmm.
having conversations, understanding their problems, offering a solution. You build your toolbox, you have different solutions to present to these people. But I'd say the hardest part
Mm-hmm.
is to find them, right? To get in front of these people, because you don't talk to just anybody and they're going to sell to you at a discount. You got to find a specific type of person. And I think Brent says it's like 6 to 10% of the entire United States housing
Mm-hmm.
market is in distress. And so to find that
Mm-hmm.
1 out of 10 person, what is it? Is that one? It's 1 out of 100. 1 out of 100
Mm-hmm.
is like finding that needle in the haystack. So I'd say that's probably the most difficult part. What do you think, Bob?
So, this is a trick question, in my opinion. In business, you look at what's the most important thing in a
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
business, and then you can take a look at what's the most difficult part of that business. Okay? So what you're telling me is that you've already answered the what's most important part, and now you're jumping into into the what's the most difficult part. Okay? And so if you have the most important part covered, then yeah, I agree with John. I think finding the motivated seller is probably the most difficult part of the business. There are other difficult parts, but yeah, being able to find motivated sellers who have a problem and need to find a solution, and you can be their solution, that is the most difficult part.
Perfect. Gotcha.
But in my
So
opinion, it's not the most important part.
So what do you think's the
So
most
just to
important
let
thing,
you know,
Bob?
But yeah.
it's a business. We're in a business. In any business, the most important part is what is the demand. Okay? What are people? What's the market demanding from you? Okay? And if you don't know what that demand is, even if you have the best, most beautiful looking product or service, okay? If there's no demand, you're SOL. You got nobody to sell it to. So find what the demand is first. And that's why I keep harping it about buyers, buyers, buyers. Okay?
Yep.
So you got to know what your buyers want first before you go out and find those motivated sellers. There are a lot of motivated sellers in the pre-foreclosure world. Okay? And there are a lot of them that would be willing to work with you. But if you can't solve their problem, or if you don't have a buyer that's willing to, buy whatever deal you put together, unfortunately, you've wasted your time and you've raised hopes on someone, who's desperate. So, for example, Q, who does pre-foreclosures, same with Eddie. Okay, they understand that, hey, if I get a property under contract, okay, that's in pre-foreclosure as a subject to, for example, but the entry fee is 15, 20%, no buyer is going to come and buy that. So it's a waste of time. How am I going to help that person? Okay. So know the demand first by knowing that, hey, if you can get it under contract with your assignment fee in there with at 10% entry fee, you're going to find buyers for it more than likely. Okay. Therefore, you're going to be looking for those types of properties and those types of leads. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. The most important part of business is demand. If there's nobody that wants to buy what you're selling, you're not making any money.
Yeah, you're providing a solution to a problem. Okay, that's what business does. We provide solutions to problems. The problem for buyers, the demand is, hey, I need a house to fix and flip. I need a house to have cash flow. I need a house to live in, okay, but I can't afford this much. There's your demand. Now go find the supply. Okay? Now you can go and say, okay, if my market is asking for more fix and flips in this area that I'm in, or in this market that I want to work in, okay, then if I bring them something that cash flows, but they can't do fix and flips, it's not necessarily going to be a good fit. Same with vice versa. Or if none of them work, but there's a lot of demand, as far as end buyers are concerned, hey, maybe I can list it and then I can find the buyers for it. Comes all back to demand.
Boom.
yeah, that totally makes sense. So Bob, it seems like you guys take JV deals as well, right?
We've been known to do that before.
Sorry?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. So actually, I think when I just joined this Discord, I just kept on learning new things by guys like John. That's really informative for me. And I
Excellent.
just I got in touch with one of I think Bob's I think assistant. Maybe her name is Geraldine. So she
Oh,
just told me that we work on JV deals as well. So I just submitted that deal on your guys' website on 2nd of October. But I haven't been approached or reached out by any of the guy. I just tried to reach out to Jordan as well, but she even didn't pick up my call. Like I consecutively called her 3 days, but she hasn't picked up a call, hasn't got any sort of response by her. So I was kinda like confused on that.
that sounds weird. Reach out to me. Let me know. Can you DM me? Give me the address. I'll go take a look at it inside our system. There must be something that dropped. Somewhere dropped. It could also
Yeah.
be the fact that we just switched our CRMs and there might have been a crack somewhere that we just dropped yours, and hopefully, God, I hope not, but maybe other people's deals as well, leads. But yeah, DM me, let me know the property address, and I'll go take a look at it. I got it. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I'll be putting the property address over there. So, by the way, to get the better, you can say, edge of the live stream, I have a question for Adam as well.
Okay.
Hey, that's me.
Perfect. Yeah. So Adam, like, what would be your advice, or you can say a three-way, a three line, or you can say best tactic for anyone who is just getting into real estate and he wanna, like, you can say, learn about how to underwrite a deal. What is your best suggestion for the guy?
Hmm, great question. I love that. Okay.
Okay.
I guess first you're gonna want to make sure you have the right mindset because you're gonna want to be curious. So I see a lot of
Exactly.
people that are just like, all right, if I know this one thing about it, then I'm good to go. And then they're gonna miss so many things and they're gonna have to learn the hard way, which is perfectly fine, but you don't have to sometimes. So as long as you have the right mindset, I think I would start there.
Okay.
And then there's quite a bit of resources out there. You want to take the time to sit down, learn something, like watch a YouTube video, some kind of resource, and actually take notes. And if you
Yeah.
if you're able to put in that little bit of effort, I think you're good to go. Step 3 is just you're probably good to go from there. You have learned plenty because even that right there is way more than enough. And if you actually love it, then you just reach out to me and we can go balls deep. We're gonna learn everything.
Perfect. Sure. I'd hit you up on there. So, by the way, John, you guys work on JV deals as well?
To be honest, my pipeline's kind of full, with the PVC stuff. Yeah, I mean, if somebody is direct to seller
Mm-hmm.
and they want to novate something, you can hit me up. But I think Bob is really focused on the JV side. He's got a lot of buyers and he builds like relationships with the buyers. So hit up Bob and his team. If you're trying to get a deal across finish line on the JV side.
Or absolutely. You know what, guys? You know what, John? A guy or a boy sitting thousands of miles away from US, like virtually doing wholesaling and learning a couple of things every single day by you guys, by you, by John, or by Bob, like being on the live stream. It's really informative and really life changing. You know what? It's nighttime here in Pakistan, but
Yeah, you guys are about 12 hours ahead, I think.
I'm just grinding all the night just to make sure that I'm working like hard and smart like top G, so I can be a proud boy or a successful guy working with smart guys like you, and that is why I'm just trying to reach out to Bob as well. So I just wanna keep. So I've been into sales marketing, so that was a pretty successful part. But the life that I started with wholesaling, that I wanna just keep it going. So that is why I'm looking with you guys just to get it done everything.
Well, we love working with hustlers like you. So keep on going.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate the live stream, like you guys, like do hold for every, like say, after a day or two, and it's been life changing. You guys are doing live stream, but the people who are joining or watching you from around the world, let's say from Pakistan, India, or Asian countries, they are putting the efforts. They are learning every single thing every single day. But one of the top wholesalers like Jerry Norton, Abdullah Ghaffar, and guys like these. So they are just writing their future, writing their destiny, just to make sure that they are doing the harder, smart work, so they can shine and they can shine bright and they can make their future in it. So all credit goes to you guys.
I think all credit goes
Appreciate
to
it.
those of
Thank
us
you.
that are putting in the work, man. It's not just us,
Yep,
that show up. It's everybody
absolutely.
that makes the calls. It's everybody that takes this opportunity as seriously as you are, and it's everybody that gets after it, that believes enough in themselves to take action. So, huge shout out and congratulations to everybody,
Exactly.
especially those of you that are joining us today and maybe even watching the replay. And we're here to help you every step of the way. Leverage the community, leverage the resources that you have. You have an incredible chat that you can tap in at any time, voice channels that you can call in and instantly be in proximity with other people, talk about deals, underwrite deals, find buyers, JV,
Yeah.
collaborate. Incredible website coming soon. I know I've been talking about it for a while, but it really is coming together, and I'm really excited to release it hopefully by the end of this month. So a lot of great stuff, for everybody in here. You're always just one call away, one conversation away from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $70,000, you know, and that's real. That's not any sort of stretch of the imagination. As long as you equip yourself with the skills that you need to handle those conversations, you can do it.
Absolutely.
From anywhere too, right? I'm doing this in the other side of America, right? I'm not even in the United States. So if I can do it, you can do it.
Exactly. Absolutely. I agree.
Hey, John, where'd you buy that microphone? From where you are, or did you have it shipped to you?
I got it here. They got nice
Nice.
stuff here, Bob. I know it's like a lot of people might think that countries in South America they're not advanced. They're advanced, you know, they're advanced. They got all the same stuff.
Dude, back in 1977 was when we moved to the United States. And when we moved here, nobody had ever heard of Iran. Nobody knew who or what Iran was. Back then, you know, when people would come to me in class and stuff like that, I was going to, like, I don't know, 5th grade or whatever it was, 6th grade. And I was like, the questions that they would ask, you'd be like amazed. Hey, do they have flowers in your country? Do you guys have have you ever seen a TV before? It's like, dude, shut up. You know, the U.S. isn't the only country that has stuff in it. It was funny.
That's what I love about having been able to travel and, you know, see different parts.
Yep.
I want to leave America and go to Europe and Asia and Africa to see, you know, the world beyond just the Americas. But yeah, there's a lot out there. You know, you'd be surprised. I think that people generally just don't have the perception, you know, or the awareness to understand, like, there are other countries that are coming up. Like, there's some superpowers that are hidden right now that you might not know about, that they're making moves.
Yeah. Yep. It's not that the United States is the only country that's advanced. It's you know, this is a global world that we live in now. Everybody has access to everything.
Yeah. I'd say the
Anyways.
economy in the U.S. is really strong, though. And that's why, and I was having a conversation about
Very
that.
true.
I got a chance to sit down with some investors here in Medellin. And, you know, we were talking about the types of sellers and why wholesaling makes sense in the United States, right? You find people that are in situations where they're in a financial bind and maybe they owe something on their mortgage, they're falling behind, or, you know, they're under financial pressure and they've got to sell this house, you know, to take care of debt. Now, that's very common in the United States, right? We're a very transactional system there. A lot of it does depend on debt. Here in Colombia, it's a completely different type of seller. The people that own these huts, the people that own, you know, these fincas, mansions, whatever, you know, even if it's just a small, you know, wooden structure, you know, they own it, right? It's theirs. They don't owe the bank any money. They're not making payments. Like, it's a completely different type of seller. So the necessity to sell is different, right? It's a different type of characteristic or a different type of archetype of a seller that would want to sell. And so it's a different dynamic. I thought it was interesting. And that's why I really recognize how blessed we are, you know, to be in an economy like this where it's always moving. You know, people will sell, you know, they have to sell. And we are blessed enough to be able to identify opportunities, you know, to help these people sell. So, you know, a lot of great things all around.
Love it. Q, what's going on, buddy? You ready
Top of the
to
morning.
do some door knocking today?
Yeah. Bro, what you was about to say, bro. Yeah. I'm ready to do some door knocking today, man. I'm in good mood today. How y'all doing?
Awesome. Thanks for asking.
Right on.
Yeah. Let's get together today for sure, no matter what. Okay, we are gonna get together today.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay. Yo, you want to know something crazy that happened last week when I was door knocking on Friday? I got humbled. Big time.
What happened?
Got humbled a lot. Thought I was really I thought I was smarter than I was. And then I went to this house and this seller opened the door just to grill me. Like, I had never been grilled on this level before, to the point where it was like, damn, I had to take a breather after that one. It was funny. Never felt so uncomfortable. But at the same time, it had got me so pumped up because it was like, all right, cool. I was in the car after that, like, man, I ain't never letting that happen again. Like, just coming up with any rebuttal that I can. But one thing it has showed me is that these people that we are serving owe us nothing. They don't even owe us cooperation, realistically. They don't owe us information, but it's more so about the value that you bring every single time. Some people, I guess, they just don't want to be helped, though, and that's just what it is. But that's what I was texting you about on Friday, Bob.
Love it. Love it. That's awesome. It's an excellent lesson. And what I loved about that is you want to learn from your mistakes. So it's not, failures or mistakes, really. There's a guy by the name of Brian Johnson who says you either win or you learn. Either way, you're moving forward. Okay? That is if you let yourself do that. Okay? So you either win or you learn something so you don't make the same mistake. And that's exactly what you did. I love it. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, bring up all their objections. Let's go through them together,
Gotcha. First one, she answered the door. She was like, "What do you want?" But said it in such a tone that I was just thrown off guard because she answered the door with a smile. But then but this is also Las Vegas, so she could have just been high. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not trying to be rude, but this is the shit that I deal with out here, bro. Like, it's kind of crazy out here. So, like, her eyes were bloodshot red. She was like, "What do you want?" And I'm just like, "Fuck. I can't. I saw you were saw your lender was getting." She was like, "My attorney and we have it handled. I got it handled. Why are you here? I know what I'm doing. Like, I know the process. I know everything." And I'm just like, dang. Okay, well, then I just tried to hit her with the basic human stuff, regular conversation. I just asked her if she was okay. Possibly the worst thing to ask somebody. And long story short, I just kind of stood there and froze while she just got to grilling me about my process and who I am and what I'm doing. It was a lot.
Okay. So I'm glad you went through that, and I'm glad that you don't want to go through it again. Okay. So step by step, you just got to learn what to say, what to do every time. So remember, the first thing is to empathize and sympathize with them, right? So she says,
Mm-hmm.
"I already got an attorney. I've got this handled." First thing that always pops into my mind is a sign of relief. Oh, thank God. Okay. You don't know how many people I talk to that don't have a clue. Okay. I'm so glad you're so educated and on top of this shit. Okay. So you want to be on their side, right? And it's true.
Yeah.
If they are actually taking action, right? More power to them. Okay. So you start off with that, hey, you're on the right track by hiring an attorney. Now we're going to plant some seeds of doubt. Okay. I just want to make sure, okay, that the stuff that I've seen in the past doesn't happen to you. For example, I've had a few people that have gone the attorney route, okay, and a couple of days or a day before the foreclosure date, the attorney calls them and says, "Hey, I can't do anything for you. I'm sorry." Okay. So I just want you to make sure that your attorney is aware of exactly what they're doing. They've given you an exact plan, okay? They've given you exact timelines of what they're going to do. And if it's okay with you, I'm going to continue following up with you just to make sure, that you don't fall in that trap.
That's good.
Okay? So
That's
turn it
good.
around. You first get on their side, okay? And then you start wedging your way in. Okay? So, hey, I'm so glad. Oh, thank God. Okay? I'm so glad that you have this handled with an attorney. You won't believe how many people I see that bury their head, don't even care, and they lose their house, they lose everything. Okay? I'm so glad that you're not one of those people. I just want to make sure that what I've seen in the past doesn't happen to you. Okay? And then you go on with a couple of stories. So that's how you handle that one. And then when you say she started grilling you, what's your system? What's your process? I don't have a system, ma'am. All I'm here to do is just to make sure that I'm helping people out. That's my system. Okay, that's my goal. Okay. So if you have it handled with an attorney, that's fantastic. I just want to make sure you know that that's not the only route or your only option. Okay. But if that's the route you want to go, more power to you. If it's okay, because I've seen this happen before, and then you go into the story. If it's okay with you, I'm just going to follow up with you just to make sure that this, that you're taken care of all the way to the end. And then you just keep following up. People are always going to push. Okay?
Okay.
They're always going to push and push. It's just a matter of how you want to do it. You want to go the Aikido route and redirect that push, that energy, okay? Or you want to go the karate route. You want to block and strike and do whatever, right? So which route do you want to go? Which route do you think would be easier?
Probably the first one.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not
that
here
makes
to
sense.
fight you. I'm not here to argue with you, ma'am. I'm not here to steal from you, ma'am. I'm not here to buy your house, ma'am. Okay? I'm here to help. You were on my list. My job is to help as many of these pre-foreclosure list properties as possible. If you've got it handled, I'm so glad to hear that. If it's okay, I'm going to follow up with you, and I'm going to move on to the next person who doesn't have it handled as well as you do.
This is
I'm
golden stuff.
always going to be complimenting them, making them feel like, hey, you're not in the wrong, okay? But guess what? Even when you're not in the wrong, sometimes shit doesn't go your way. So I'm going to be there to help you maneuver it at that point. Now I'm
That's
going to go
fact.
take a banana break now because you got me hungry.
Dude, I'm telling you, you gotta eat a banana in the morning. Good. You gotta eat a banana, drink some water with some chlorophyll in it, you feel me?
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I like it.
But I appreciate you telling me that, because one thing I've learned or that I'm starting to notice just about entrepreneurship in general is that it's all kind of a personal development journey.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
the fact
Absolutely.
that you told me how to do that, that reminds me of like verbal judo. Like, I had
Yeah,
to learn
there
how
you
to
go.
do that a long time ago. And it makes sense. I realized that I was reacting a certain way that possibly was just creating more tension between me and the seller, meaning like
Mm-hmm.
my reaction to them being closed off as if I was obligated to them giving me some type of information or some shit. And in reality, they really don't owe me anything.
Right.
So for me to just get on their side, like you said, is a lot easier, because then I'm not just some dude at the door. Or maybe I still am, but at least I'm a little bit more trusting.
Love it.
Yeah.
Adam gave you some physical tips too, which is great.
What did Adam say? If you're more soft spoken than ones. Yeah, Adam, I appreciate you saying that, because I do be doing that. I am a pretty soft spoken person, because when I speak loud, it just sounds too aggressive. And I do kind of keep my posture up. But one thing I definitely got to work on is really just maintaining that calm demeanor, because sometimes I could get a little excited, or I'll just zone out. Like, it's always one or the other. I appreciate that, Adam.
No problem at all.
Yeah, man. Wholesaling has been improving my people skills all around. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest.
You got it. You got it, buddy.
Right back at
Keep
you,
up the
man.
great work. Eddie P, do you have anything else, Q, or do you want us to move on?
Nah, we good.
All right. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. I got like 3 more minutes before I got to bounce. But hey, Eddie, what do you got? How's everything going with you, man?
Man, everything's going well. I'm about to be like you today, doing some door knocking, and everything. I got my list together about a couple of properties that are in pre-foreclosure. So that's all well, that's one of the things I got going today, and a couple of other things, but I'm at least going to try and knock out 7 to 10 if I can, or at least get that note on the door and see what happens from there.
Love it. Love it. All right. Anything else from anybody else?
Just hoping that everybody has a blessed day today and that gets after it. Whatever you can do, do it. Whether that's making a couple phone calls on your break or, sitting down and locking in, for the rest of the day. Let's get to it. Let's have a fantastic day today.
Have a great day, everyone. And we'll see you guys actually tomorrow afternoon with me and Adam underwriting some properties for you guys. If you guys need help with any underwriting with any of your properties, bring it over. Okay, we'll be happy to take a look at it and help you out any way we can.
Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen. This was great.
Thank
All
you.
right. Have a great day, everyone. We'll talk
All
to
right,
you guys
y'all.
soon.
Take care.
Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, you've got to invite somebody you think would benefit from being in proximity with us. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel to catch all of the replays, the literally hundreds of hours of content, calls, live calls, finding deals, underwriting deals. It's all there waiting for you, okay? The only person that's stopping you from succeeding is yourself. So let's get after it. Have a great day. Bye.